to Anmi on Phinda, where these young lion cubs are just playing around the car actually, and we came back to the carcass that we were with yesterday, and they're still here, but they seem a lot more active than they were last night. It's quite amazing. There's 9 lions just surrounding us. It's quite fascinating actually. Look at this young cub there right next to mum. This is so awesome. And they're gonna go greet mum. And it's amazing actually how gentle these older cousins have been with them. Oh, look at that. Giving a nice little embrace there. So sweet. Oh, got a bit of a fright there. Look at this. The one, oh, Jesus. Just a bit of discipline. Sure, that was quite an interesting interaction, hey, where one of the older cubs obviously just got a little bit too close to the youngster that's carrying that wildebeest leg around, and the mom just decided to give a little bit of discipline, saying, hey, don't get too close. You can see how cautious these older cubs are being now. If you guys are here, this lioness is about 4 meters from the front of our vehicle. Look at that. Unbelievable. Look at that older cub now coming in and being quite sneaky behind mom's back there. You can imagine there's not a whole lot of meat on that leg, but this cub's being very selfish and not wanting to share with anyone else. Oh no, look at that. It's amazing how the mom doesn't really mind too much. I don't know if I'd want an old wildebeest leg on my back. Mom seems quite content with what's going on. Rose, there are two males that are the dominant males in the area, but we saw them yesterday with the Pride, but we saw also, as we were approaching here, the tracks of them heading north from here. So we know that they do go between 2 different prides, and I was mentioning yesterday afternoon that once they've had a good meal, often they'll go and then head off throughout the night and patrol their territory. Look at that. That lioness is being very considerate. Look at how they're all following the one with the leg. I know. I love that sound. There's just a whole lot of high-pitched moaning or groaning going on, where they're all just interacting now, trying to figure out what's going on. You can see this young cub just following behind the rest of them. They have taken this wildebeest leg under the tree here, trying to get it away from the rest of the cubs. Yeah. Such a special sighting, with all of them so close to us here, almost surrounding us at one stage. Oh, look at this young cub stalking. Oh. So playful. And Nola, you're right, there are a lot of cubs. There are 7 cubs at the moment in this pride. And this is actually not all of the lions in the pride. There are actually 2 older lionesses that are not here at the moment. They're quite nomadic at the moment, moving around. And we think, well, we saw them mating recently. Well, look at that. One of the older cubs just coming from behind. I'm sure you'll get him in frame soon. There you go. This is coming to join in on the fun. And I'm sure if it gets a little bit too rough, Mum will come and sort them out again, give them a bit of discipline. But I think for now, this is so important for the cubs just to learn these little stalking techniques and use that instinct. Anna-Marie, you're right, they are looking really healthy, especially after that feast that they had yesterday. They're all looking so full and in good condition. Someone asked yesterday about them grooming each other, and that's also one of the reasons that they're looking so good and so clean. These older lionesses as well, they haven't been in too much conflict, and so often you'll see older lionesses with a lot of scars and battle wounds that are looking quite tattered, but these lionesses are still quite young relatively, so they're still in really good condition and looking really beautiful. You can see that one now that we screen up on. She's got such a beautiful face. You can see she's the older of the lionesses. She's very big and has such a beautiful face. There's actually 3 prides on Phinda, and we've got about 35 lions, I think, at the moment in total. So, there's 1 pride in the north of the reserve, and then 1 in the west of the reserve, and then 1 where we are in the moment, which is the south of the reserve. So, and then between the 2 prides that these males go between, there's I think 15 in this pride in total if they're all together, but that doesn't happen too often. And then about 8 or 9 in the other pride that these males go between. You see them all lying in the road now, just playing there. There's just a little patch of sun. It's quite beautiful. You can imagine that sand is quite nice and cool as well. Being in the shade after a nice cool evening, it's quite a nice spot for the lions to be lying as it's heating up now. You see these cubs quite inquisitive. Look at all their ears pointing right at us. Ooh. A little bit of an interaction there between, I'm sure, the mother of the younger cubs and one of the sub-adults. You can see them looking a little bit like, look to the right now as these other cubs start approaching. Watch now as the older lioness is approaching, how they react. I'm sure they might go and greet them nicely. Look at that. That sound also is often the sound you hear when they're quite hungry or ready to suckle. You can see mom's teeth are still very swollen and one of the cubs very keen to try and maybe get a little bit of milk. Even though they've got such full bellies, they're being quite greedy. It's amazing how brave these young cubs are, taking on their older cousins. Not afraid at all. Can you see the lioness that's just further away from us now? She's the older lioness, so she would be the leader in this pride. And when she decides to start moving, then the rest of the pride will follow. Even the mother of the other cubs will follow up behind her. I don't think they're getting ready to move right now, just because these cubs are quite full and often they won't move around too much, especially with these cubs being quite young.